Hey guys, I'm trying to broaden my horizons here and try new things and open up the mind. I bought a kayak on the whim and I got this awesome kit from SMACO online, and I'm gonna try these new things like this minimalist scuba diving and minimalist kayaking thing. By the way, honest review on the Dorado. I paid full price for this thing, no sponsorship, so you will get an honest review of its flaws and its strengths. No BS here, you know how we roll. This thing is heavy. It offers a grab. No, that was pretty heavy. Like, I know putting this thing on there when it was at its dry weight was not very easy, but that was not much easier at its dry weight to put on than this thing was. And this thing is fully packed and loaded, so right now it would be much harder just to straight up upload this onto the truck. Could be done by 2 people or by 1 if I took all the stuff off and made it fairly dry with just like a little bit of tackle in there. But right now, if this thing got weighted down with tackle and batteries inside, I think it would get very taxing to load on the truck. There's the kayak. Go ahead and put the dive kit right here. I forgot a stupid paddle. I can't believe I forgot a paddle. Again, I did it. This time I have no excuse. After being scolded by the multitude of you for not getting a paddle and how stupid that was, I just got nothing. The spur of the moment gig to film this right now while it's an overcast and not death outside and I was in a rush. That's it. Okay. This yak is hot. So that kind of ends abruptly. That's not bad. Before I mod this thing, fishing on a stock lets me know what I actually need to do about it. There's no way to do it other than just to do it. Find an easy way down. I think that's the easiest straight way down. Let's go that way. This thing is deceivingly heavy with no battery. I can't believe, I could imagine this thing with like a battery in it. It's ridiculous. Thank heaven I am a fairly strong person or this would suck. There's really only one way to do this, is push it down. Signs that this was not, tell me this was not well through without telling me. Even in the overcast, stuff is hot to touch. This kayak is hot to touch. So I picked this spot because it is the absolute closest I'm going to be able to get to the shoreline from a sidewalk. Right here in Havasu, this is where it is, right in the Thompson Bay at the right entry port of the channel. So let's try it. The thing is ridiculous. How am I going to intelligently do this? Ooh, kayak, I bet you didn't think you were going to get all this stuff today, huh? Rocks. This stick. Man, that thing's really in there. All right. Come on. All right, shoes off. You know, that really wasn't that bad. Can the shoes possibly go in the battery case? Do they really want to go? Yeah, let's put it in there. The shoes can go in there. All the valuables. We are as ready as it's going to get. We're going in. Sun conveniently comes out right when I get in the water. I came out because it was nice over. I'd imagine a fair distance of water to put the drive in. Like that. This goes. Okay, now that was very easy. That was extremely simple to do. That was the easiest I've ever had to install a drive ever. That was cake. Let's get in and do this. Let's try it out. Okay. Things I should probably do. Learn how to steer. How do I deploy that thing? There's a way to deploy this. I think I'm supposed to pull this, right? Pull! Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, there's the rudder. Now it wants to steer. Okay. Steer us. Steer us away. You know, not so bad. All right, we're gonna skip the buoy. Here we go. Okay. Okay, that's pretty sweet. We do need to move this seat up though. Okay. There. Okay, I moved it up too much. Maybe like 3 back? third notch. Come on, let's try third notch. This is fine. I can deal with this. The sun came up. This is a little patch. Right when I get out here. I came out here overcast, whatever. Yeah, the reverse is kind of whatever, but the reverse kind of sucks in everything. I'm out here in, I guess, what you consider as, I guess, fairly open water. And I will say the hole is actually surprisingly stable. Wow, it actually, okay. All right, well, my mind has been changed on that. I didn't really, I mean, obviously a little lighter, so it's easier, it's more prone to rolling. It rolls a little more than the Yak Killer, but like as far as like being completely unstable, I don't know how I would like this in waves. Well, this is a fair amount of wave. This is much better than when I tried that other kayak. I forgot what it's called. This one's so much better than that one. You guys are right. You guys are like, don't ride it out. That's like the cheap kayaks you can get. Actually get a real kayak before you ride kayaks off. So I took your advice. You know, I'm all right here. Not terribly happy with like the amount of limited storage and the overall weight of it when it's just barely stock, which makes me a little terrified to mod it. But we'll be doing some sort of short ultralight slight mods, nothing heavy, not putting a bunch of crap in it. Like, it's all gonna be out of seriously thin aluminum. Just gotta sit here and think about what we're gonna do to it. But standing on here, it's pretty peaceful. Pretty peaceful. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty nice. We're gonna try and throw this little weedless Senko in here. So, before the sun came out and ruined it all, I had a good chance to catch them over the grass mat, because then they come out and they're on top of the mats. But now that the sun came out, they're gonna dive back down underneath the weeds and I'm not gonna be able to get them. So, F you, sun. And personally, I probably should have just came out a little earlier. But hey, I've been standing out here. I've been standing on it. It is actually pretty comfortable to stand on. Not so much to like steer and stuff, like this kind of sucks, but it could be worse. Fishing from the seat. Fishing from the seat's all right. It's all right. It's better than I thought it would. You made a believer out of me. It's very stable. It's also very heavy. And I do like the 8-ball steering. It'd take a little bit getting used to. I probably would like it a lot more if the steering was tuned right. It's just not tuned right. I almost have no right steering. Like, look how slow it's veering. Like, if you're gonna turn right, you gotta take your time or you're not gonna make it. But the left works really well. The left is actually tuned higher than the right. Oh, it's the Riot Kayak. That's right. It's the Riot Kayak that I tried last time. Yeah, not even the same experience. If I'd have paid another grand, I could have got like the electric drive, and then I wonder how fun this thing is with an electric drive. But I have other plans to make a really high-powered electric drive, like a DIY one that drops right in here. And so we're gonna have to see how that goes. We're gonna go into the channel, and this is where lots of people come to just sit here and dock and get drunk, and then they lose things like money, keys, wallets, phones. I'm gonna go explore for some, see if I can do my good Samaritan deed and return it. No, I don't like to brag, but prior to this, I tried this on for a whopping 3 minutes in my above ground pool, and so I'm pretty much professional. Got about 9 minutes of air. First off, I always wonder what like scuba diving, like the snorkeling, the diving for like buried treasure, and like everybody likes to do that. It's got all these views on YouTube. I was like, is that really that fun? Like, why would you do that when you could be fishing? So we're gonna go try that out today. We got this pretty cool kit from SMACO. It's like, if you're trying to think about getting into diving on any sort of level without getting too deep into it, because you know, obviously it's a hobby and you can really get into it just like get into fishing or hunting. This is like a really good entry-level way to test out whether or not you're gonna like it. This is a really good base kit to get into it. You don't need a whole lot of stuff. You just need it, a dive shop to fill the tank, and then you can just go anywhere you want to go. It's also small enough to keep inside a boat, which is like the primary reason I got it, because you know, I fish with these big baits. They're expensive and they're hard to make, and they get caught on cages, and they're just down so far, and I'm too chicken to go down there and try and get them out. Like, I was worried like my hook's gonna get stuck on a finger and I'll just like drown to my death because I got stuck on like a 4-aught treble hook and by the finger trying to get the lure off, and then I die down there. Like, how much air do I have? Still in the green. It's actually pretty fun. I'm just like worried I'm gonna get up low key. We went out pretty far, so I'm trying not to run into these guys. I know I'm making some rookie mistakes here by not having a spotter or not having a flag saying I'm diving. Really, I'm not really. Most people just kind of snorkel for stuff like this, but to really get down there, Like, I wouldn't have never found those beads because the water is just too murky here because the boat's constantly turning up and stuff. Parts of this lake are getting clear and you can see right down to like 30 feet down, but here not so much. You lose visibility at around 6 feet. So aside from making clear newbie mistakes, like panicking when I shouldn't have even had to panic, and then like water still getting in my goggles and a few other things, I had a lot of fun. I didn't find anything of value, but I still found things, and that was a lot funner than I thought it was. And I was also refreshed from just being in the water in the hot sun. Sweet. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If I'd remembered my flippers, like, it would have been so much more fun. Like, trying to pedal your stuff down there and keep yourself from floating back up without flippers was really exhausting. I only covered a little bit of feet, but I would have never been able to do that. I don't have like the lung capacity or the guts to just stay down there and fish. And then like when I'm losing those big swim baits, and like if I could just dive down there and I had something like a little dive tank to go get it, I would save myself probably thousands of dollars in donations to the lake a year. The thing's gonna pay itself off in a few major fishing trips. And then obviously for stuff like this. All right, off we go. That was actually really refreshing. I can't believe it. I generally hate the summers out here. I've never found out terrible ways to enjoy it, but that was very enjoyable. I mean, that could be a summertime hobby. In the wintertime, in the fall, and the spring, it's all about fishing. But the summer over here in Havasu, miserable unless you find a way to enjoy it. And so boating out there on top of the water, miserable. It's too hot. Like, it was miserable on this kayak until I got in the water. How does the one wheel do? It's all right. I mean, it got me through the dirt. It wasn't a gracious get through, but it did get me through, and now I'm on the sidewalk. It's fairly easy. It just drags on the end, but it has these scuffing bottoms, these buffers that if it drags on the sidewalk, it's not a big deal. The thing about the drive, it did kind of wobble when I was using it. I don't know if that messes with the power, the power distribution. It kind of flexing on the pedal. Not a terrible big deal. It is very basically put in, which makes it easy. So, I mean, you can't have everything. I just pulled this kayak all the way up from out there. And that was, if it was one straight shot, it would have been easy, but I had to zigzag around these sidewalks to get around here. That kind of blew. What it does show me is I'm more out of shape than I thought I was, and I need to go to the gym more. As far as overall weight, when somebody complains about heaviness, I always look at them and I'm like, how strong are you really? Like, your perception is reality, and so if you're a weak person and your perception that it's heavy, then I guess it's heavy to you. I can bench press more than my body weight. I can squat like 1.5 times my body weight. I can deadlift twice my body weight. Those stats alone put you in the top 5% of strength for men. So I'm still fairly strong for my age. I can do things. But I will tell you, with those stats, I even thought that thing was heavy. It exhausted me to drag it across there. The Dorado is heavy. It's super heavy. I had trouble making it portable, and it's just stuck. I never want to hear no stupid arguments from these people saying, you just don't understand kayaks, the portability is so much better than the John boat. The John boat's only heavier than that thing by about 20-30 pounds. Like, when it's bone dry, that is actually very comparable. I almost want to just gut that John boat, like completely drive everything inside of it, like all the, take off the trolling motor, take out the batteries, take out all the tackle, and then I want to weigh those things on a cat scale. Probably pretty comparable. It was close to the same experience of towing it that way. Like, it was I did find some treasure. I mean, I wonder what I can get for that. Things I probably could improve are these need to be longer. Gator Guards makes a kill protector. I don't know, some like fiberglass lemon that actually sticks to HDPE pretty well. I probably will put them back here because to get a fair amount of scraping. Like, I would truly think, obviously, that wheel is not meant for long distance. That was like the fail there. The wheel is meant for like short distances. Very short. Like, it's essentially just there so you won't drag the hull on rock, but it was not meant for like long traveling distances. I kind of scraped it up pretty good. There's one time where I just like didn't want to go around the sides and I cut across the deal and scraped on this. So yeah, the hull scrapes. So I got to be cautious about that. Obviously, it's very expensive for this piece of plastic. I got to review the footage, but one of these is not as tight as it should be or loosened, which they're pretty tight snug-ons. But so I think it's this one's loose. I felt my hand was like hitting this, my hand was hitting the seat. I felt like that was not great. I just dealt with it, but they really tightened it up. Like, everything here is tight. With that being said, this is actually a very, very seamless you don't have to turn it and deal with what comes with turning that. Grabbing this gives you a lot more leverage to pull it with like your whole arm, so it is nicer. Overall, it's nicer. Oh, I had a strap. I didn't even know I had a strap. That's nice. Got scupper plugs, got holes for an actual dolly, which is probably the way better option. Would have made my thing a lot easier. A dolly that is taller and mounts farther up, so you can distribute the weight more evenly. What killed me to tow this thing was that it was just, all the weight was way back here. Same thing with my yak killer. What kills me to tow that thing is the dolly stanchions are way in the very back, and there's no distribution of weight. Like I said, I moved it over here. If I had a dolly that distributed the weight like right here, I could way easier tote this thing, and obviously an extension. So what I probably will honestly make is an aluminum fold up like drop trailer that just folds up and sticks right here, and then later on you can just like fold it up, take it out, slide the kayak onto it when you're taking out the truck. Like it all just fits in the truck bed. I'm gonna design it. That's what it really needs. It needs that from the bottom, and then we'll talk about possible usable mods. I already have ideas of what we could use with these T-tracks and some of these other things, but I really gotta go and pick the brains of the guys at the yak store. This thing does come with some nice stuff, and it comes with its own little panel here and some lights. It has forward and aft lights. So you're not really supposed to be on a kayak at night, but you can be. You can't put nav lights on it. I don't think they're nav lights, but they're just like legitimate lights to get you through the gray light during the dawn and dusk. If you're out a little too late, you can kind of navigate your way through. The seat was all right. The seat, but you could feel the seat visibly flexing. Like when I was trying to push on it, you could feel it doing this. I thought that was kind of a fail. I thought that was kind of loosely done. There's some things, because I know this is not like the Ferrari. Well, it kind of is like as far as like kayaks go, this is like up there. Like it's kind of like a Corvette or a higher end car with like the lower end horsepower model, but it's still like the higher end car. There's just some things that are done here that maybe there's no other better way it could have been done. But for $3,000 or $2,900, I would have thought maybe a little bit more could have. Like it's just a little bit sketch. That strap being the only thing that keeps the front part of the seat down and it leaning back gives you a little bit of a lean leverage, but I just didn't, which is nice if you're like trying to be comfortable and leaning back, but I personally didn't like it because like while I was pressing against the pedal to gain leverage and power, it was leaning back and kind of taking away my power and also pushing me back, which didn't feel great. So there's that. Other than that, I don't care. But I will say any sort of little small defects don't terribly matter because it was very stable. I would say when I did get on the Hobie, when I was on a Hobie Pro Angler like 14, like a 360, I don't think even it was as stable as this. Personally, that's my personal take, but it was also heavier. 20-something pounds probably heavier, or maybe 10 or 15. I was probably 10 or 15 pounds heavier, but I would say when I stood on that thing, it was not, it was stable, but it was not like this. This was like, I was actually quite surprised how stable it was. So the hull by itself, I think, is a superior hull in general. Definitely, I haven't tested every kayak out there, but man, I don't know. The hull is worth it. The hull is what attracted me, and that's why I mainly got it, not because of the add-ons, but I do like it. It's all right. One thing I will say though, when I was trying the other kayaks,
Okay, sketch.
is I was also really out of shape and fat. Now, I don't say that to offend anybody. I'm saying that because that was prevalently true about me. I took more physical space, actual physical space and weight in the world, and that affected the way I was able to maneuver on small watercraft. And it greatly affected my ability to enjoy the John Yak at first, even though it was more enjoyable than the average kayak because it is more stable. It's heavier, it's wider. It had a full deck and had those things, but it was still, when I was heavy, it was not great. And but I did notice whenever I lost all kinds of weight from getting my act together, the boat was so much more enjoyable. I no longer needed the butt seat. I was able to maneuver along it like a lot better. And in this kayak, I wonder, because when I went on the Hobie 14 Pro Angler 360, yeah, it was pretty stable. It was comparable, but it was still a little sketch, little roll heavy. But it was also a lot heavier. But this time I'm trying this. I wonder if I tried it again now, if I would like it more because I'm not as heavy. And I wonder if that's why I like this kayak. And I feel like everybody who's like vouching for kayak stability, I feel like you guys are all like sub 200 pound people, like short people, or really, really tall, skinny people. Or than that, like if you're over 200 pounds, like over like 230 plus, which is where I was at, they wouldn't. I just wonder. I wish I could go test all those boats again now and let you know how much your actual physical weight matters on the yak. Because I will tell you right now, I get questions all the time. What's the biggest thing you can do to make your boat more stable? And these people who are, you know, they're 300 plus pounds and they want to know how to make their like 12 foot or 14 foot boat more stable for them. I would just tell you, if you're not willing to lose the weight yourself, just go get a bigger boat. Really, that's the only way. because for whatever reason you're just 300 pounds of solid muscle and mass, or you're 300 pounds of, you know, going the other way, you're still 300 pounds of physical mass, and that does affect the hull you're on. So the bigger your boat, the happier you're going to be, period. And honestly, the bigger your boat, even if you're a smaller person, the happier you'll be, because that thing's not even going to move for you. But definitely, I think that definitely a weight, your own personal weight, severely affects how much you're going to enjoy a craft like that. And that's the biggest thing to trim weight on. You can trim weight on your build, you can trim weight on the mods, you can do all those things, but you know, your personal improvements or modifications to yourself will help long term.
Floats in almost no feet of water. Look at that. Well, I'm gonna have to go home.